Here's an unboxing video of my new live plants for my 40-gallon aquarium that I ordered from Horizon Aquatics. Before I go any further, I just want to quickly say that this video isn't sponsored and I bought all of these with my own money. So getting into the unboxing, and as you can see there's a decent amount of protective paper to stop the plants moving around in the main box when shipped. So just to quickly get the hardscape out of the way, I did order some Gnarled Manzanita wood for the tank that I'll probably use in a different project rather than this 40-gallon build. I also picked up 6 kilograms of lava rock to build out a retaining wall in the tank to put my stem plants behind. So getting onto the plants, and as you can see they came in these little boxes, adding even more protection during this shipping process. These little plastic Tropica bags also help with the humidity for the plant during the shipping process to keep it wet. Then the plants are wrapped up in this damp blue roll to add even more protection and keep the plant totally wet while shipped to you. Just to save time and prevent you from seeing me unwrap every single individual plant, here's a little compilation of all of the plants that I ordered during this order. Unfortunately they didn't have Limnophilia sessile or Rotala rotundifolia in stock, but I will be picking them up soon. So into the plant deep dives, and first up we have Echinodorus Bleheri, and there are some browning leaves on this plant, but other than that I think it looks great and it's the first time I've actually kept this type of sword plant. Next up we have Cryptocoryne Usteriana, and I'm really happy with this plant's condition. It looks great and I really like the colour of this plant, and I want the longer plants in this tank to have their own little characteristics and colours. The next plant is Ludwigia Mini Super Red, and I've heard mixed things about this plant and its difficulty, but I wanted to give it a go because I've never actually kept red plants before, and apparently this is one of the easier options, but I'm happy with the colour and condition of the plant. Next is Hygrophila Polysperma, and I know it's a little lopsided in this, but it's just the weight of the stems, and the actual condition and colour of the plant are fine and I see no problems with it. Next up is Hygrophila Polysperma Rosanervig, and I actually prefer the look of this version of the plant over the regular one. There is some very slight browning on the tips of some leaves, but other than that it looks great. This one is Pogostemon Erectus, and I did like the leaf shape of this plant and I wanted to give it a go, even though it is classed as a medium difficulty plant, but as you can see it's in great condition and it's perfectly coloured. I picked up this little coconut with Java Fern growing out of the top of it as a hiding spot for my betta tank rather than the 40-gallon tank build, but the actual Java Fern is in good condition and I am happy with it. My plan is to actually add Java moss to the sides of the coconut to make it look as natural as possible and help it blend in with the other plants in that tank. Next up we have Wendtii green, and I actually want a full crypt field in the mid and foreground of this tank. I picked up 2 of these, but I did have some minor issues getting one of them out of the blue roll that comes shipped in, so it does look a little battered. Crypt melt is quite likely when I plant these anyway, so I'm not too fussed about the condition of the leaves right now. It's the roots that are important, and the roots of all of these plants are in perfect condition. Next up we have Wendtii Tropica, and from the pictures that I've actually seen of this plant I was expecting it to be a totally different colour. Still the plants look healthy and I'm always happy to have more crypts in my tank, but I am curious if this plant will change colour in its submerged form as it grows over the coming months. This one is Beckettii Petchii, and it's one that I already have in my betta tank, and I absolutely love the look of this plant once it's grown in, so I knew I wanted some for this project too. Both of these plants look healthy and their leaves are great, but like I mentioned, crypt melt is a thing and it is pretty likely. Next is Willisii, and this is another crypt that I have in my betta tank too. I only picked this one up for the slight variation in the leaf shape and stem size within the crypt field for my 40-gallon tank, but both of the plants look healthy and I'm happy with their condition. I picked up 2 of these little Java moss pots for the project as well, and I opted for this rather than the normal Tropica 1-2 grow pots. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think this works out to be better value for money overall and you get more moss in it. One thing I would say is that the Java moss out of these little pots did seem to be easier to attach to my rocks than the 1-2 grow Java moss. I picked up some Salvinia for my floating plant of choice for this project, as I have it in my 12-gallon tank and I do think it is my favourite and easiest to maintain floating plant. Anyway, here's how the plants currently look in the tank. The gaps to the left and right of the Echinodorus Bleheri are for the Limnophilia, Rotala and probably some Beckettii Caroliniana. I am looking forward to seeing how these crypts perform, but I wouldn't mind adding a few more over the coming months depending on how these grow out. Anyway, I am really happy with these plants. Now I just have to try and keep them all alive, but I will be starting a monthly follow along for the 40-gallon tank soon and you'll be able to see how everything goes.